We are live. How exciting. Okay, I'm letting everybody roll in. We're here. How exciting this will be. And it's, well, like, yeah, around the afternoon. So maybe people have just ate their lunch, or maybe it's getting that cocktail or something, like we would want to be doing.
That's what
But
I need to go do. I need to go run and get my cocktail. I don't have time.
I know. It just came so fast. After this, time for celebration. But I just want to welcome everybody here. So excited. We are on the second session of our sales workshop, day 1 out of 3. It's so exciting. If you were able to join us before this, it's good to see you again. I'm excited to have you here. And I'm so excited to have Tammy Levent. We love having Tammy Levent on. We've had you before. We have to have you back multiple times because it's just so much fun. We have a great time, and all the time, just people get so much out of these webinars with Tammy. So we are so excited to have this with you here today. But really quickly, just to introduce myself, if there's anyone new to Travefy Academy, I'm Stephanie Grice, and I'm the senior client champ. Oh, that was the old title. Actually, I am marketing and education coordinator now. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. That's the old title. So yes, I am moved into a new role, but you still get to see me on all these webinars, which is really fun. But one thing though, before I get started to chat with Tammy here and introduce her, I do want to quickly give you an overview of Travefy Academy, but also just what to expect on this webinar. So if this is the first session you're joining us, we're going to have multiple webinars coming up. 1 more today, 2 tomorrow, 2 on Wednesday with a follow-up happy hour, which we'll talk about, which will be really fun. But Travefy Academy, if this is your first time joining us for a Travefy Academy webinar, we're just a free educational resource to further Travefy's mission to power the success of travel professionals. And the thing is that our team has the privilege to work with thousands of amazing travel advisors and organizations daily. And we get to partner with these industry experts, just like Tammy. We've built a relationship with Tammy, and just it's been so awesome and really great. And so we just want to bring these people on, bring them on and help you grow your own business. So it is important to note that these webinars are not commercial in nature to specifically promote any of our industry speakers, including Travefy, in which Travefy Academy content does not focus on Travefy's products, but it gets brought up every now and then, though. So we won't stop it, little shameless plugs here. But just want to let you know, too, you can find more information about Travefy Academy at academy.travefy.com. And as I did mention, this is our second session of the sales workshop. So if you want to sign up for the other ones, you do just need to register for each one individually. And then we will be recording this. So this will be recorded. So it'll be on demand after this, so you can check it out. And then we'll also spend time with a Q&A if we have time at the end, a Q&A with Tammy. So if you do think of something throughout the webinar, go ahead and put it in the question box or in the chat. And we can possibly go over those at the end. But with all of that being said, all the things now, I want to introduce Tammy. So for any of you who already know Tammy, you are lucky, but it's really lucky for any of you who do not know, and now you get to know her. So Tammy is I love this, a travel agent's agent. She created Elite Travel in the wake of 9/11. So during the collapse of the airlines in the face of natural disasters, the recession, and the onslaught of online booking engines. And this is why she knows better than most how to create a successful business in an adverse climate. She understands that the travel industry was in need of help, and she forged ahead to restore dignity and the art of travel. And I say that also because the proof is in the pudding, because not only has Tammy created a successful travel agency and Task, which is a travel agent success kit, but she launched her own business from nothing in the past year. She has a new business that she just launched during COVID, just further sharing how she's made her way out and has just created these successful businesses. So I'm sure we'll get to hear more about that because it's so incredible. But welcome to Sales Workshop, Tammy. And we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, it seems like I do better during a crisis. Not that I really want to do that, but I do way better during a crisis. 9/11, I started Elite Travel. We've done over 150 million in travel business. And here we are over COVID. I was in quarantine and we had a food truck as a side gig, like I have nothing else to do, right? But just think about it. Travel wasn't going anywhere. We didn't have travel going. We didn't have the my task agents. Actually, we did carry task over COVID, if you remember. We did it in June. We still went forward with it. I'm like, COVID or not, we're going to do it. You have to set the example, which I'm going to talk about. We're travel agents, of course, we have to travel. And then the last thing was that I started this stupid little food truck as a side gig because Rob and I were just sitting around on the beach every weekend like most people should do and rest. So we decided to have a food truck, and the food trucks was doing events. So now the food truck was stuck and not events. Sorry, that's my business line. We're just going to let it go.
It's all right. Busy woman.
Actually, I should just move into the other room, but I'll leave it. It'll just keep ringing. Sorry about that. I forgot to take it out of there, Stephanie. So we are so busy. Like I said, that I'll call another 100 times. So basically, I had a little fried donut. It was the first donut ever created 2,800 years ago. 2,800 years ago, the original donut, it's crispy on the outside and light and airy on the inside. And I was sitting there not using my food truck and sitting in the driveway, and I'm like, how come no one ever invented this for supermarkets? How come no one invented this for restaurants? And here it is, fast forward, it took me about 10,000 tries, 500 times a day, but did I have anything else to do? I'm sitting at home and under quarantine doing nothing. So I ended up inventing it. And in 1 year, that was a year ago, September 1st. September must be my lucky month. September 1st is when I started Elite Travel. September 1st is when I started doing this. And I ended up now, we're in supermarkets in Canada. We have Amazon and QVC and Kraft Foods coming next week, and we're in restaurants, and my head is spinning. New packaging, something I never thought in a million years that I would get into, but there you go. So everything is possible. And that's the way we're going to start our conversation. Everything is possible. There's no excuse for COVID. There's no excuse for anything, because I'm a no excuse type of person. I don't believe in that, obviously. The proof of it is in the pudding, just like Stephanie said. Okay. Can you hear me?
Oh, wait. I think. Oh, wait. There we go. Oh, yep. You're good. You're good. You're back. Take it away.
I thought I was frozen there for a minute. Okay. So with that introduction, let me get into no excuse on selling, and no excuse on not finding clients, and no excuse as to, blame it on COVID. Okay. So I just came back from a 3-week trip to Greece. I was on a celebrity cruise in Azamara, and both of them pretty much sent me there to give them my feedback on COVID. I have to be honest with you. I think that we're the only country in the world that dwells on talking about COVID every day in the news, every day in the media, because when you go to these destinations, you hardly hear about it, and everybody is living their life and free and happy. And everyone respects wearing a mask. Everyone respects the space. Everyone respects you as a person. And not everyone is mandated to vaccine or get vaccinated, but I see that there's a difference in the way things are handled in other countries versus our country. We focus on the negative, and most of other countries are focusing on the positive. So today we're going to focus on the positive aspect. One is that you are all travel agents. All of you should be traveling. I don't care if it's 2 hours away from your home. I don't care if it's around the corner at a park that happens to be, for example, I live in Tampa Bay area. I live in Tarpon Springs. We are a tourist destination. I could literally walk to the Sponge Docks, video, and say, come here, travel, tourists, whatever you want to do, or the best beaches that we have, which is Honeymoon Island. You could look that up. It's voted, I think, #1 or #2 best beach in the US. So these are little things that you could be doing to entice people as far as travel. They don't know where you live. They don't know if it's your backyard. They don't know if you just traveled miles away to get to this destination. But I think it's really important that we keep the follow-up of travel. That's why if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, whatever you want to do, I'm only Tammy Levent, there is no one else. You can see that I posted close to 1,200 photos, and I continue to do so. I'm not an internet guru or social media guru, but I just felt the need was there to educate consumers that it's safe to travel. And I think it's up to us as travel agents. If we rely on the airline, if we rely on the media, it's all negative, and we're not going to get very far. So it's up to us to continue the momentum and to do what we need to get done. I've been with travel agents to day one when COVID started to tell them exactly what they needed to do to have sustainability and to keep in business. Since day one, even Stephanie, you'll remember when I started doing these 1 week after COVID was mentioned, after one day, I was in Chicago at my son's house telling people, this is what you need to do right now to survive and sustain. And that's because I am a survivor and I have gone through so much in my life that I'm able to know exactly what to do in situations, in stressful situations like this. So enough of what I'm telling you as advice of what to do. But if you don't go out there, the sales aren't going to come in. So people need to see you. They need to see your name and then you see your brand. And more so than the name of the travel agency, they need to see you because your brand comes after you. You are the brand. So if you have a pen and paper, that would be great. I do not believe in, I haven't believed in years in a PowerPoint presentation. So I have a lot to go over and a lot of great notes. So make sure you do that. If people still need that information, somehow we'll have to figure out how to get it to you. I don't know how yet. I haven't thought of that. Stephanie and I didn't discuss it, but we'll see what we can do, but take the best notes you can. The first thing I want to do is, of course, thank Travify and everyone on this call. Everyone on the call, because you're taking the time to educate yourselves further, especially in this time that we need the education of how to communicate and how to sell to clients in COVID times. And if you could do it now, you could do it at any time with the good times. And secondly, Travify, thank you for doing these and having me on again. You know that I'm a huge supporter and I'm here for you for whatever you need in any of your sessions. And I will be here for your happy hour and teaching everyone how I learned how to make my black margaritas when I was in Mexico a few weeks ago. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yes, we do need to get that recipe. We might need to hand it out to people. Well, I'll work on getting that, everyone. So I'll get that from Tammy.
Yeah, they didn't give it to me when I went to Mexico. I had to figure it out myself.
It sounds delicious.
I'll share.
I look forward to it.
Okay. And then again, it's been a challenging year for all of us, including myself, including Travify, including your vendors and your tour operators. Look how many people have shut down. But again, throughout all this, I set myself an example of travel. I did not stop. We had tasks during COVID and it made media news because they're like, this lady's crazy, but I gave everyone their own 6 foot, 8 foot table. So it was important to keep the safety, but it's also important to keep the education. So right now what's happening is most consumers are a lot of things that we are experiencing. Right now, people are nervous, they're unsure, they're unsafe, they're scared. They don't know if they should be booking. A lot of them have lost money because they made bookings before. A lot of them want to rebook. You're tired of rebooking. It's probably your 3rd, 4th, 5th time. Who knows? I have some clients that want to rebook again. And I'm like, why are we doing this year? Can we just do it next year again? Because they want to go to places that need vaccinations or we're not sure of. Let's just wait on that. And you are really their only safety net. Are they really going to go online and get the information that they need? They're calling you now and asking you, do I need a vaccine? Do I need this? Do I need that? So you are their bouncing board and you are their listening hub right now, and you need to have the answers. You cannot have all the answers. So when somebody calls you and says, do I need to get vaccinated to be going to this location? Ma'am, sir, there's hundreds and thousands of destinations around the world. If I knew what every place required and the change that they make daily, I would be a genius. And I really don't want to give you misinformation. I can help you with the travel needs that you have, but I cannot give you the information of what's required or necessary to enter into that country. That is what you need to learn by heart and repeat it, because you do not want to get involved. Even if they book with you, you need to give them their links and let you their own resource and information. You are going to have one person make a huge mistake, and at the end of the day, it's going to end up being your fault. And we know this because everything's always our fault. But we want to make sure that we don't give any information, because misinformation is worse than no information. So that's number one, because you're going to get a lot of those questions asked to you, okay? And the good thing that you could tell them right after that is, I'm really happy to be working with you, because if you did go online or work with anyone online, you're not going to get any answers either. But now we can communicate on this and work on it together. You and I could work on it together to see what is required for you to enter into that country. So everything is a we now. There's no more you travel agent, that's the client. Everything is together, we work together. That's also important because they need to feel as though you're on their side. Think about it. They have everyone against them. They work for a huge corporation that have 1,000 employees. Now they have to get vaccinated or they're going to lose their job. They did lose their job over COVID. So they've been very isolated and very alone. So this is the opportunity. They haven't traveled in 2 years. You are their life link and you are their best friend. So these are things that you have to keep in mind when talking to a customer, and don't rush. Take your time when you're talking to this client. Take your time, but at the same time, have my favorite part of the entire sales, let's say, structure, or the process, we're going to call it the sales process, is the sense of urgency. I don't care if there's 1 million rooms left, there's always going to be a sense of urgency. Because if you don't create the sense of urgency, you're not going to get the sale. So you have to create that sense of urgency. How do we do that? And in these times, how do we have a sense of urgency? This is really important, so please jot these notes down. The question is, how are we going to get that sense of urgency? I'll tell you real quick and real easy. Cruises are booking to half capacity. So I just went on Celebrity Cruise that wasn't at half capacity at the time. Their capacity was 3,586 passengers. There was only 500 passengers on board. So even if there's 3,500 passengers on board, they're only going to allow half of that, which means that you're only going to allow 1,800 passengers on board, right? Okay, is that not a sense of urgency? So right now, you're limiting to half of what the normalcy is for travel. That means that the rates are going to be going up, number one. And number two, it's not going to be fulfilled in full capacity. So if someone's on the phone with you and telling you, oh, but I know there's plenty of room, I know that they didn't sell out. You're absolutely right, sir. They didn't sell out. However, they're at half capacity. So more than likely of them selling out is going to be possible. Yes. So that's one. Hotels are in the same situation. They're not fully booked. They're not booking to capacity. So take advantage of the situation that you're in and create that sense of urgency. Restaurants are not in full capacity. Airlines seem to be full in capacity, but guess what they're not in full of? They do not have the same air itineraries as they had before. So if I want to go to Atlanta, it used to be a direct flight. Now, a lot of times I have to go to Miami to get to Atlanta, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, but not on every flight, but you understand what I'm saying. They're picking up people along the way and making sure that they are at full flights to go out, but not as many flights. So there is a sense of urgency. So that is the most important, a sense of urgency. And this is not a commercial, but it is true. I'm doing two different type of tasks event. I have one that only holds 6 agents, and then I'm doing one that only holds 20. And I'm creating a sense of urgency. If you want to do the 1 in 6 and learn more, because it's a smaller group, you have a sense of urgency to book that, even though it's for September of next year. It's booking because I only allow 6 people. It's the same concept. So remember that sense of urgency. The next thing is costs are going up, and they really are going up. I just booked a Princess Cruise for someone literally 4 months ago, and I always double check to see if the rates have gone lower. Her cruise right now is $2,500 higher than it was 3 months ago. So I'm glad she booked it when she did. When the rates first came out, we booked it, and she's solid. So rates are going up. If someone tells you, no, I'm going to wait for the rates to go lower, not happening. Not this year and not next year. Maybe 2023 when it's fully open, but I don't see anything coming down in price at all. So the other thing is, when we're talking about the urgency and also rates, I just came back from Santorini and Greece, and let's just talk about Santorini. I wanted to get on a catamaran cruise and a little excursion for 5 hours. Well, I was on the cruise ship, on 2 different cruise ships, 2 different weeks. The first one that I was on, I didn't make my reservation ahead of time thinking, okay, I'll do it the day before, shouldn't be a problem. Sold out, could not get in the whole day. And we're talking, I don't know if you know this or not, they have over 40 boats, 40 boats. And that's because their capacity is normally 24 people on a boat, and now their capacity is only down to 12 people on a boat. So it gives you the sense of, wow, I couldn't even get in and I wanted to do a sunset catamaran cruise. So I booked it for the following week that I was going to be there, changed my plans. I had the best time in the experience. So the demand is there, but the inventory is not. So that's another sales tool. Demand is there, inventory is not. So let's talk about now you finally got that client, and now what are you going to do? One is you have to educate your client in today's climate and today's selling. So give them the perceived value, like for example, the Sunset Cruise. The perceived value is that this will be the highlight of your trip. And honestly, it really was the highlight of my trip. I had it on my last day, relaxing in the Mediterranean, had no worries in the world, barbecue, drink all you want, 5 hours. I was swept away with as busy as I am. I didn't even think about anything else but that catamaran trip. So every trip that you put together, find out how you can create a highlight for them. And that's what you need to focus on, is the highlight of that trip. Yes, we have everything else, but just imagine yourself here. And that's the highlight of the trip. You need to put a value on it, but it's invaluable because you cannot put a cost on the experience. That's the key. So you cannot put a cost on the experience that you're selling. So the same as with the entire trip. We're not selling a package, we're selling an experience. You're not selling travel, you're selling an experience. My experience to Greece was, yes, I was on Celebrity. Celebrity was the vehicle that took me there. Celebrity may have been my hotel stay. The hotel, I'm only going to be in so long. It is what you're going to sell, but the experience is what's going to remind me of where I stayed and what I did. So always the experience is what you need to sell. Then you're going to ask them questions. So you're going to ask them what they want rather than what you want, okay? I know that some people sell cruises primarily. If I'm not a cruise person, then don't try to sell me a cruise just because you like it and you feel comfortable in selling that. So find out what exactly it is that I want, where I'm thinking of going, and try to sell me the best option. If I tell you I don't like to cruise, please don't try to shove it down my throat and sell me a cruise. And if that's all you know, then don't even try to sell me on a cruise. Sell me to something that I want. I want to be on a land vacation. I want to go to these different islands and island hop and learn your product. So sell what the client wants, not what you want to sell. You also want to be more historic. Maybe the customer doesn't want it. They want to spend their entire time on a beach. That's fine if they want to do that in a beach location. But then explain to them there's so much more to see and do. I have clients that don't want to do anything but stay in Mykonos right on the beach for 1 week. If that's their idea of a vacation, then let that be that experience. Your job is to take that 1 week on that beach and make it better and give them the experience of what else there is to do, okay? Then the next thing is that I always want you guys to have the competence of being competent, knowing and knowledge of your product. I live on YouTube. If I'm not familiar with a place that I've not been, like New Zealand, for example, I have not been, trust me, I'm gonna watch every YouTube there is of every experience if I'm sending a customer there on YouTube. And I'm not afraid to tell the customer, I'm not familiar with that area. Let me find out and do a little bit more digging with my tour operator and myself, and I'll get back to you. You can't say you know everything, okay? So don't. Make sure that you can tell the customer that you're there looking for them to give them the best experience. And then learn it and learn it well. The other thing is you need to have the credibility. That word right up there, this way, I have to go this way. Integrity, that is my key word. Integrity is having the credibility for me as an agent, as a person, as a vendor, as a mom, as a friend, as everything. I have the integrity in my business and in my life, and that's what means everything to me. I want my customers to know that they can be going to a credible agency and to make sure that you give them the best direction possible, that they trust you. Expertise and the value. All this will sell over eagerness all the time. So don't be eager to make the sale. Even though I know you have a mortgage and you sound desperate on the phone, you have a car payment, don't sound that way, and you will always get the sale. We close probably, I'd say at least 90% of everyone that calls in, unless they're just fishing, and we get to that as well. And number one, do not have any fear. I fear nothing. I feared nothing with no money over quarantine to start a new business. And here I am ready to sell it already in a year. So definitely no fear. There's nothing to fear. Keep it simple. If you have a 2-week itinerary, then run it down for them. Because remember, they don't know everything you know. So the way that I keep my itinerary with a client, day one, you'll be traveling from Europe from the States going into Europe. Day 2, you've now arrived. Let's do a transfer to get you to your hotel. The rest of the day is for yourself. Day 3, we're going to do a half a city tour. Day 4, we're going to take you on a flight and take you to Santorini, where you're going to spend 3 nights. And this is what we're doing on day 5 and day 6. Break it down. The more you lump sum and send it to them and give it to them, oh, this whole trip is costing you this amount of money, you've lost them. I'm telling you right now, they need to know that you know what you're talking about and you've broken it down day by day by day. If they tell you that's too much for me to do, then take something out. I tend to put less, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So you're going to ask questions. This way you have the answers because they cannot contradict themselves, all right? So if you ask them, do you like the beach or the mountains? And they say they like the beach. Right? I'm giving an example. And you know this. You already wrote it down. You're ready to send them a beautiful itinerary with Travelify. You have beach, beach, beach located everywhere. And then they call you and they say, I said the mountains. They're not going to say, I said the mountains. I know for a fact they're going to not contradict themselves because they're the ones who said they want the beach. You're going to reiterate and say, Stephanie, I know you told me you wanted to go to the beach. Is that correct? So when I put this itinerary together, I'm going to give you beach locations. Stephanie is going to say, no. I really want the mountains. I don't want the beach. Or I want a combination of both. You go over what you just mentioned, but that Stephanie, even if I send her everything for the beach, she may say to you, you know what? I know I made a mistake. I really wanted the mountains, not the beach. Can we make that change? But she'll never say, no, I never told you beach because she never contradicted herself. These are things that you have to make sure that you verify with the customer. So ask the questions where the answer can only be answered by them and they cannot contradict themselves, okay? Because the customer's never wrong. We know this. They think that, but we know better, okay? And he who has asked the questions has the power in the sales conversation. So when you ask the questions, at the end of the day, you have the power and control of that conversation and with the client. When someone calls me and asks, I want to go to task, that's why you can't find a contact info on my website for task, because I don't want you to contact me that way. I want you to call me. I think we just put a contact page on there because I'm getting busier. But at the end of the day, I want you to call me so I can ask the right questions. Tasks may not be for you. So I don't want just anybody in my class. So I need to ask you the right questions. It's the same thing. You need to ask the questions. And after the answer, keep it quiet because you need to drive the conversation in control. So if you just keep talking and not ask the question and wait for the customer to answer, you're not in control of that conversation. Have that answered and make sure you take down the right notes. Also, always sell a good product. Yes, we've stopped selling so many products that gave us headaches. I can't sell them anymore. And I don't care if the customer wants it or not. Stop selling it if it gave you a headache. So I can mention this and I will mention it because I really don't care. But we stopped selling Spirit 8 years ago. Oh, what a surprise. Everyone remembers what happened a few weeks ago. And I was just looking at that going, oh, this is why we stopped selling it. Allegiant is another one. This is why we stopped selling it. So there's certain cruises I won't sell. There's certain properties I won't sell. If I had one problem or two, you're done. I will never sell you again. So if a client asks you for a property that you do not sell, instead of dwelling on the negative of why you do not sell that product, sell in the positive of why the product you want to sell them is better than the product that they wanted to go to. Okay? So a lot of clients ask me for an XYZ product. I'm not going to mention who or what. And I tell them, I prefer to have new. Don't you rather have a new property than something that's 30 years old with spackle on it that you keep spackling and doing it because at the end of the day, when you walk into this property, it still smells like mold. And you will see that more than likely they're going to change their mind and say, yes, you are right. I'd rather have a newer product or newer property. And give the benefits of the property. The same goes for properties, cruises, and everything. You do not want to have issues. Trust me, one issue goes viral very quickly. And then create an amazing presentation on Travelify. So the most important thing is to create this amazing presentation with your pictures, with your city guides, with videos, with all the information that you have to send it to them because they have everything in their hands and all they have to do is click the button and buy it from you. And that's what you need to do. Ask them the right question of, do you want to follow up by text, email, or a phone call? I have some people that I probably may have talked to once in their lives and all they want to do is text me. That's fine, text me. Email, with today's world, some of them only use Facebook as their messenger. Some of them use WhatsApp, whatever it is, I don't care, just communicate with me, but you need to ask them. The other thing that you need to do is mention perks that you can offer. For example, I book with GoGo, they have My Time. So you can mention the My Time program that they offer in some of their products. Maybe you can get a cruise offer that they can't get anywhere else. Mention that as a perk. It will help you get the sale. That's the difference between us and booking online, is that I have these perks that you can't find anywhere else. Very important. Always give them choices. I always send 2 different itineraries and let them make the decision. Both itineraries were specifically made to sell the way you want to sell it, but they're going to make the choice. Do you see what I'm saying? So either way, you're going to win, but just make sure that you give them a choice of 2 and establish that credibility. And it's all about their needs and your value. So it's always about what they need, what they want. The value is going to come from you. And to secure a commitment, you must uncover their need. So establish that you care. I understand that you're worried about COVID, but we want to assure you that we send you to resorts and cruises that have implemented the best safety measures. These are really important right now. And I have clients that just came back from XYZ location. I have clients that have been there. So sell something that you feel confident that they do have cleanliness and the requirements and everything that they need in the protocols, especially over COVID. And if you have a certain resort in mind, sell it with confidence. So I'm going to give you an example. If you go to Greece in the itinerary, I'm going to send you to the Niche in Athens, Dana Villas or Raka Villa in Santorini, Domes of Alunda in Crete. Why? First of all, they're not the same client. Secondly, I never had a problem. Third, I make the most amount of money. So at the end of the day, sell the same thing. It's not a problem to sell the same thing. You're talking to different clients if it fits into their requirements of what they want. I probably sell this 90% of the time I'm selling the same product. So it's not that you're getting bored and you're not selling the same product. You're selling the same product because it didn't give you a headache and you're making the money and you know the product. You've looked at it inside and out and you can get them a quote very quickly selling the same product. If you sell Thailand, sell the same product. If you have a problem with that product, then you talk to them like I have in the past. If they don't get any headway with it, then you move on to the next product. I'm not telling you, I sell AM resorts, but I also sell excellence and I also sell chic. I think the Caribbean is a little different than overseas in Greece or in Italy, but I tend to sell the same thing depending on their budget, and I'm very happy doing so. And I suggest the same. Once you learn it, you live it, you breathe it, you sell it with confidence because you know that product. Confidence is the key in making the sale today, okay? I just want to mention one thing. Out of the 2 cruise ships that I went to, Celebrity had one person that was vaccinated that ended up testing positive for COVID. Azamara had none. So, and we had 600, out of 600 people on Azamara, only 200 people were on the ship. And their protocol for cleanliness and testing was immaculate. And of course, here I am with my wipes, Lysol wipes, right after them. They just cleaned the table and there's Tammy wiping again. They're gonna think I'm insane, but that's okay. Hey, I just wanted to be safe. So the other thing is, remember when I said create the curiosity? The curiosity is going to be leave something out. So when I propose somebody to the trip to Greece, I'm only going to put maybe half a day city tour at Athens, maybe the catamaran in Santorini, and I'm going to leave the rest blank. And they're questioning, like, what do I do the rest of the time? But what you're doing is you're volleying, you're getting them to come back to you and ask you the questions that you need in order for you to continue the conversation. You want that engagement. So that's what that's going to do. So always leave a little bit open for curiosity. Don't give them everything. They're going to come back for more. Okay, so definitely do that. Now we're going to go with the questions to ask. This is the part that is super important in the beginning of the conversation. Stephanie, I know I have until 2:45, so we're great on timing. But what I need to know is if there's a way, if somebody wants these and they don't write them down fast enough, these are pretty much the only things I need for them to write down: the evolution of the sales process, the questions, and the close. So maybe somehow I can get it over you and you can get it to them, or I don't know, however, you'll figure it out, or they can email me, however you'll let them know. So the questions to ask, and I'm going to read them out to you, are: first, get their names. Please do not call your tour operator and make a booking without any names. Would you like if somebody talked to you at a conversation and did not know your name or did not ask your name? That would be ridiculous. So make sure you get their names. Secondly, what did you have in mind and why? Oh, I want to go to Italy. Why did you want to go to Italy? You need to establish the why do they want to go to Italy. What dates are you looking at? How long are you looking at? How many people? What would you like to do when you're in Italy? What do you imagine? Maybe they're watching YouTube videos. They've never left the country. They don't know what they want to do. They're looking at all this. I want to experience the food. Then you know that you want to give them a culinary experience. I like wine. Then you're going to send them to Tuscany. Maybe to Torsa or a winery where they do a truffle hunting with the dogs, a little bit of excitement. They're going to do wine tasting and they're going to do a cooking class and eat. There you go. So you need to find out what they like to do. Where are you coming from? And you need a budget. No budget, no sale. If somebody says to you, I don't know your budget, say, well, if I told you 15,000, oh, that's a lot. So then obviously you do have a budget. Okay, don't act stupid and not tell me your budget. You need a budget. Where have you been before? And have you worked with a travel agency before, or did you book this online? It's a very hard question to ask, but you need to ask that, because if they book themselves, well, why is it that you're coming to a travel agent now? I'm excited and elated that you called me, but what is it that you're looking for that you didn't get when you booked it yourself? Question. Second question, or maybe you booked with a travel agent and what was it that you didn't like that the travel agent did for you or did not do for you? Maybe they weren't as engaging. Find these questions out, because if you don't, you're not going to get the sale or you're going to have an unhappy client. We ask these all the time. If I get you your budget, will you ready to book? No, I'm not ready to book for another year. Why are we having this conversation? Okay. Or yes, I'll be ready to book with a small deposit. Great. Most important question is that if I get you your budget, will you be ready to book? A lot of these are hard. That's why you got to get over the no fear in order to ask these questions. But with proper training, you can definitely get over these. I will send you two options. And what is the most important part of the trip that we need to include or do for you? You need to know, what is it that you're trying to get out of it? I want romance. I want to see the ruins. I want a beach. I want to climb the mountain. I want to drink as much wine as I can. Whatever that may be, they have it in their head. They need to relay that over to you, you know. Okay. Now we're going to go over real quick the evolution of the sales process. And why am I talking so fast? Because there's so much to go over. I need like double time, but we'll get it through. Got 5 minutes. The evolution of the sales process is identifying your leads, qualifying them, the initial call, your presentation, I can't say that enough, presentation, your follow-up, have references available if they need them, handling objections, your proposal and your demonstration, and being able to negotiate, and then you'll be able to close the sale. These are things that are a must in any sales formation, and in order for you to get the sale and close it properly and to have a client that's happy and satisfied, that's not going to call and question themselves or what you sold them. When they book online, every time they book online, I don't care who it is, what it is, when it is, every time they click that buy and they put a deposit down or they paid for it, they question themselves. Why do they question themselves? Because they did it and they need somebody accountable. And now you're that accountability. And that's why it's super important that you qualify all of their needs, that there is no question that they're going to have the best vacation. Okay. Then 5 prerequisites for closing sales. Recognize the need, why and the need. Viable solution. You have the viable solution for what their needs are. They haven't traveled in 2 years. They need to go on a vacation. You have the solution, but let's also create that experience. They need a value, must justify the cost. The value is that I'm giving you the experience, therefore you're going to pay for it, and I'm going to charge you. Okay, so that's the value must justify the cost, the sense of urgency that we discussed, and the authority to buy. You have to talk to the person who's authorized to make this purchase, and they are giving you the authority to make this purchase for them, that they want to buy this product from you, and you need that sense of urgency. And close, spending a few minutes to make customers feel special is more significant than spending hours to make a customer feel average. So think about that when you're talking to somebody on the phone, the impact that you have with them. We've spent let's say 40 minutes on this call, it went by really fast because I wanted to go over so many things. And I think the last parts are what I really want to get to you. But I know that I've made an impact. And even if I changed one person's idea on this webinar, or the way that you go about closing a sale, the way that you talk to a client is, to me, a success. I've already did what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's the value of the time that we have together versus the quantity of the time. I know that people sometimes go on training sessions and they're there for, weeks at a time. And what you get out of it is the quality of the time that's spent rather than the quantity of the time, I feel is most important. So with that said, I'm pretty much wanting to answer any questions that you may have because I'm closing in on my time. I know I went through so much, and I know, Stephanie, all this helped you too, but I did pretty well without a breath.
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, oh my God. I can't believe how fast the time is going. That's insane. Yeah, because I looked, I was like, whoa. But so a question, a lot of people, they want that. Is there any way that you could get me that info and I can pass it around?
Because I figured they're not going to write it. It's too much. I want to give them the info for the evolution of the sales process, because they'll remember the questions to ask and the 5 prerequisites for closing the sale.
Perfect. Okay. So everybody listening, I'll work on getting those. If you want to email us at academy@travefy.com, but also if you go to academy.travefy.com, by the end of the day, I'll have that up there. So I will work with Tammy to get that for everyone, because there's so much people that were like, this is awesome, but that we want to print out. I was like, I got you. I will get you. It'll be good. Just so much good information.
Don't forget the free book.
So there is
a free book.
Yes. So everybody listening too, let me change my thing. Our little freebie downloads. So I'll probably put this in here too. So again, if you go to academy.travefy.com/freebie, which I think that, actually doesn't say there. So I'll need to fix that, but it's /freebies, but we'll put it also, again, just go to academy.travefy.com and you'll find everything you're looking for. But I'll get that. And will you tell us a little bit about the book, the free download you have?
Sure. It's I've written quite a few books, but this one's free, of how I built every business on strategic partnerships. So even this book is all about giving examples of how I did certain things with strategic partnerships. Doing a bridal show, let's say, with strategic partnerships, and how I was able to get a free trip for the bridal show. The other one is like now, even the new business, how to build strategic partnerships to get you to the next level, how to get press, how to get free PR, how to get into events, how to work with certain vendors. Strategic partnerships is very important, especially in today's world. We're strategic partnerships. You guys are with us. So.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And we appreciate you giving the free download too. That's very nice. So yeah, so everyone go and find that. I know people, and by the way, everybody is just loving all this. They said, this is phenomenal. This is great. But I do have a couple questions though for you that did come in that I want to get to. Is, so Joanne asked, do you recommend having those questions that you went over as part of your travel inquiry form?
Oh, absolutely. 2000%, to the point that it's here. You don't have to think anymore, because a lot of people forget certain questions that are important. I mean, you could ask budget, but it's reading it as a form. It's going to be conversational. Don't treat it like a form. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like conversational, and I think the most important question in reality is the one about budget, because we are afraid to ask and people are afraid to answer. So you've got this block. This is what happens. It's this friction when you're asking the question of, that's like me asking you, Stephanie, what is your budget for, whatever. And I know you feel uncomfortable answering that because I'm asking you about like, what's your budget for spending clothes a month? And it may be something you don't want to answer, but I need that if I'm going to be your stylist and I'm going to get you clothes. I can't you got to answer that question.
Yeah.
So it's tough to ask and it's tough to get an answer.
Yeah, no, it's so true. That's what a lot of people are saying that too. They're like, if we get the budget, it is book time. It is go time, which is awesome.
That's right.
Yeah. So another question from Pamela here is, she said, what do you recommend saying to a client if they say they just want you to email them a quote? She said, I end up sending them the information and never hearing back again, which I've heard this one before too.
Right. I think you're not pre-qualifying them the way that you should. That's the key. You got to pre-qualify them. If I get all this information to you, Pamela, are you going to be able to make a decision on this? Find out more about them. Google everyone. I'm sorry, but we Google every single customer, every single one. And if I can't find you anywhere, there's something not right. So be a little bit more engaging with them where you build a reputation. You need an answer as to why they're not booking with you. We don't have that many that just, woof, they disappear. Most of our clients pretty much are going to tell us a reason why they're not able to book with us or not go with us. I try to get an answer as much as possible. I had one recently to Italy. I did so much work on it. Oh my God, girl, it was a destination wedding to Italy. I did everything, gave them all the information, all of that. And then she said, my husband just lost his job and we can't go, but I got an answer. You have to somehow get an answer. Now, there's something else that we do, if you could ask Pamela, or I'll just answer it. Okay, we do something else here. It's a little tricky, but you're going to love it. So let's assume that I am the owner, which I am the owner. Okay, let's not assume that. I am the owner of Elite Travel, and Stephanie is one of my agents. Okay, Stephanie? So all right. Stephanie just went to a client, and she just gave them an entire proposal, and she's not hearing back from them. We play a little game, whether it's between me and Stephanie or whether it's Stephanie and another agent. So I'm going to write to the client and say, I'm sorry, but I'm the owner of Elite Travel. And I know that Stephanie gave you a quote and we haven't heard back from you. I hope that everything is okay. If not, is there something that Stephanie said or did that may have offended you that I need to know if she's not doing her job right? Now we know that Stephanie didn't do anything, but guilt works every time.
Yeah, then they'll give you an answer. Yeah.
Right. So you could have a pseudonym if you want. Hey.
Yeah,
it could
true.
work. You could have your own pseudonym if you work by yourself. Wink, wink.
Yeah,
or
it's a good idea.
You can have your agent do it, but we do it a lot here and we always get an answer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I have a wealth of information. Trust me. There's no way this customer is going to get away.
Well, and just another thing to plug in here with Travefy, I don't know if you ever do this, Tammy, but you can actually turn it off. So that way, if you send like a proposal to them or a trip, you can unpublish the trip. So that way they can't see it. Okay. So yeah, so that's one thing that I feel like is really cool too. They're like, oh, you can't see this anymore. Type of thing.
How do we do that?
Oh, yeah, so it's in trip settings, but yeah.
All of a sudden it's a Travefy.
A little shameless plug. Yeah, but it's helpful. It's doing exactly kind of what you were saying. So that's how to throw that in there. But yeah, there's someone said good cop, bad cop. That's exactly it. Yes. No, this is really awesome. Somebody else asked too, just kind of sifting through the chat, Marjorie asked, what is a good way to introduce our fees into the conversation? That could honestly be its own webinar. So I know that's a hefty question, but how would you respond to that?
Well, it depends on what you're charging fees for. I personally don't charge fees if I'm booking a $10,000 trip. I'm making enough commission and I don't charge fees for that, but I do charge fees for air. And if I'm only booking a car for you, or something like today, I had 2 Amtrak calls. Wait, who goes on Amtrak? Anyway, so I have to charge them a fee. So the way that I say it is, I just want you to know that before we proceed, that we do charge a fee, and we do charge this upfront to do the work and to book your trip. And it's $50 or whatever the fee may be. But I do say this upfront because you can't do it after the fact and then all of a sudden I'm charging you a fee. We tell people, the airlines do charge a fee when you book online as well. You don't know it, it's embedded. Or when you call them on the phone and you're calling me and we're charging a fee as well. Some of them charge up to $50. So we still only charge $40 for a domestic ticket and $75 for international. But usually no one has a problem with that.
Awesome. Another question here. So this is from Erin. She said, how would you tell a client you cannot help them if they are difficult or not the right fit? That's a good question.
Just the way she said it.
I can't work with you.
I can't work with you. No, we did have somebody like that, and she was with me for 8 years. Swear to God, true story. We're going through it right now. Poor Patty, and it's a group, and she always has like 60 people in the group, and she just changed the destination on her group without advising her group. So all these people are calling and screaming at us, and it wasn't us; it's her group. So I told her, I'm sorry, but this is the last trip. We just seem that we cannot work with you. If you'd like for me to find an agent for you, I can. If not, then you'll have to find your own. But it's just, thank you for the 7 years that you've given me. It's just impossible and we can't work together. Girl, you can fire anybody you want. You don't have to work with anyone.
It's a good reminder, a very good reminder. This has been awesome. I know we could be here for so long. As you were saying, I mean, this could have been all just day, just chatting about all this stuff. And we just have
this is what I do for tasks.
Yeah, this is what
I can't be with you all day.
Yeah, oh, true. Yes, she does have other obligations, but we really appreciate you being here with us. And one last thing that I want to talk about is I want to plug Happy Hour because Tammy will be joining us. Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
I'm going to be in there. I want to give something. I think I want to give. Let's give away 5. That's a lot. 5 of my task kit video series.
Oh, she just upped the ante. So, okay. So everyone listening, so you already get.
The value is $1,200 each.
Wow, nice. So we just added more value to this prize. It's just going to keep getting, look at that. Amazing. So we're going to have it on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then there'll be, so we'll have 3 winners, but I think we can figure out who's 4th and 5th. So then that way we can, because we just use a trivia thing called Kahoot, and they'll tell us who the other winners are. But basically,
let's do that. Let's do that.
The top 5.
She got this idea from me because when she comes on my on my calls, we give out stickers.
Yes, but we don't do it as frequently. So we're like, oh, let's just do we do an Amazon gift card. We'll have it's going to be a very large value. So
mine, if they were to buy it themselves, I believe it's $129, but the value of it is $1,200. So it's
wow, that's awesome. Oh, that's great. And one really important thing that I almost forgot to say, and so thank you, Lisa, for mentioning this. The sign up is closed right now for it because I made a rookie mistake of making it a meeting. So we need to upgrade because we have too many people in it. So I'm going to upgrade my Zoom account after this, and then everyone will be able to go in. So if you just give me a couple hours
for this one that we just did,
for the happy hour. So I created it as a Zoom meeting. You would think in this time of the pandemic, I would know how to use Zoom so well, but I still made a rookie mistake. So I apologize. But everybody, just give me a couple hours, and you'll see it open up for people just because we hit our limit. So
I'm going to give everyone the recipe to my black margarita too.
That too. We will be on the lookout for that. So yes, I will get that from Tammy along with all the notes. And then feel free, everyone, email us if you have questions, but just stay on the lookout for all this stuff and feel free to reach out. And this is fun. This was great. Thank you so much again, Tammy.
I love it. Yeah, just if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Make sure you download the book. It's free, a lot of valuable information. If you need to contact me, go ahead. But I want to give this to Stephanie to give out to you. I think it's great in writing, and I'll get it out to you by this afternoon.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much again, Tammy.
I wish me luck tomorrow and the following day with my other business.
Yeah. So Tammy, we were talking about, the business. And so you have really big meetings tomorrow. So let's all send our good vibes. Best of luck.
Yes.
Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you again, Tammy.